The story begins in a small northern village surrounded by cold forests and long winters. The place was quiet. The streets were narrow. The homes were made of old wood. Nothing changed fast. People lived simple lives and worked hard to survive the heavy snow every year. The villagers believed in old stories. Some were harmless, some were dark. One story was feared more than all others. It was the story of the red shoes. People said the shoes were cursed. They said the shoes could take control of the person who wore them. They said the shoes forced the wearer to dance without rest. They said the shoes had destroyed many lives in the past. Most adults called it a tale used to scare children. But some elders insisted it was real. They said the curse waited for the person foolish enough to ignore the warning. A young girl named Karen grew up hearing this story. She lived with her mother in a broken little house at the edge of the village. They were poor. Karen wore old clothes and damaged shoes. She never had anything new. She always dreamed of something bright and beautiful. She dreamed of owning a pair of red shoes. Her mother died when she was still young. Karen was taken in by an old wealthy woman who lived at a larger house near the village center. The woman fed her, clothed her, and taught her proper manners. She was strict. She disliked anything loud or colorful. She believed simple clothing kept the heart clean. Karen did not think the same. She wanted beauty. She wanted attention. She wanted something that made her feel alive. One day she went to the town with her caretaker. Karen saw a pair of red shoes displayed in the window of a small shop. The color was deep and bright. The shoes looked new and perfect. Karen felt a strange pull toward them. She could not take her eyes off them. The caretaker did not notice. Karen saved a small amount of money over several months. Then she returned the loan and bought the shoes. She hid them in her room. She knew the caretaker would not approve. She told herself she would only wear them once, and only in a place where no one would judge her. She decided to wear them to church. She thought they would look beautiful under the sunlight that entered through the tall windows. When Sunday came, she put the shoes on. They fit perfectly. She walked to the church with a confidence she had never felt before. But when she entered the building, the people noticed. Several turned their heads. Some whispered. Some frowned. The caretaker stared at her in shock. Karen felt a mix of pride and shame. She looked down at her feet. The shoes glowed like fire against the stone floor. The moment the service ended, Karen tried to leave the church quickly. As she stepped outside, she felt something strange. Her feet moved on their own. She tried to stop. She tried to steady herself. The shoes ignored her. They pulled her forward. They made her take another step, then another. Her heart raced. She felt panic rising. She grabbed a bench to stop herself, but her hands slipped. The shoes forced her to walk faster. She tried to take them off. They would not move. She pulled harder. She fell to the ground. The shoes stayed tight. It felt as if they were part of her skin. Her caretaker reached for her, but pulled her hand back when she saw Karen's expression. The villagers backed away. No one understood what was happening. People whispered that the old story was real. That night, Karen barely slept. Her feet throbbed with pain. She could feel the shoes pressing into her skin. She tried again to remove them. Nothing changed. Her fingers shook. She felt fear for the first time. She covered the shoes with a blanket. She hoped the nightmare would end by morning. But the next day she stepped outside, and the shoes dragged her forward again. Her steps grew faster and faster. Soon she was running. She could not stop. The road was rough. Stones cut her skin. Blood soaked the edges of the shoes. She cried out. No one helped her. People saw her from their windows. Some prayed. Some closed their doors. Word spread that the curse had returned. Elders said the shoes were older than anyone remembered. They said the shoes were created by a shoemaker who cared only about money. A young girl had begged him for a pair of shoes that would make her look important. He made the shoes, but used harmful materials. The girl wore them and never stopped dancing. Her family buried her with the shoes after she died. People believed the shoes were stolen from the grave years later. The curse followed the thief and many others. Now the curse had reached Karen. Karen ran through forests and fields. Hours passed. She begged the shoes to stop. Her legs felt weak. She lost control of her breath. Her tears dried on her cheeks. She believed she would die, but the shoes kept moving. She did not know where they were taking her. Night came. The air grew cold. She moved like a puppet. Her body shook. Her feet hit the ground with sharp pain each time. She reached an abandoned house outside the village. The roof was broken. The windows were shattered. The place looked deserted. The shoes carried her inside. She stumbled over the floorboards and fell against a wall. Her legs moved again. She screamed and held on to a cracked beam. The shoes twisted her ankles to force her to stand. The house had once belonged to a woman known in old village tales as the Red Witch. Some said she practiced dark rituals. Some said she cursed the original shoes. People avoided the house for decades. Karen now found herself trapped inside. A voice seemed to echo in her mind. It told her she had chosen the shoes herself. It told her she had ignored warnings. It told her she had valued beauty more than humility. She did not know the voice was real or part of her fear. The shoes began moving again. She danced in the empty house. Dust rose around her. Her breaths grew sharp. Her body felt broken. She fell again and again. The shoes lifted her each time. Hours passed until she had no strength left. She collapsed on the floor. For the first time the shoes stopped. She lay still. The house was silent. Morning light entered through the broken window. Karen tried to sit up. Her muscles hurt. But something felt different. The shoes loosened. She touched them with trembling hands. They slipped off easily. She stared at them in shock. They lay on the floor like ordinary shoes. Karen left the house slowly. She walked barefoot back toward the village. She expected people to stare or run from her, but the streets were empty. She reached the caretaker's home. She knocked. No one answered. She looked through the window. The caretaker was inside, yet remained still. She looked frightened. She had heard Karen's footsteps and refused to open the door. Karen realized the villagers believed she was still cursed. Karen picked up the shoes and carried them back to the abandoned house. She placed them in the corner where she had fallen. She walked away without looking back. The house stood silent. The shoes remained inside, untouched. But some villagers claimed they saw a glow in the window that night. Some said they heard faint footsteps when the wind was quiet. No one went near the house again. Karen lived the rest of her life quietly. She never spoke of the shoes. She never wore anything bright again. As she grew older, she warned children about the danger of desires that blind the mind. Some believed her. Some laughed. But when winter winds blew across the village, people sometimes remembered the girl who had danced all night without rest. The house still stands outside the village. People say the shoes remain inside. People say they are waiting. People say they choose their next owner. No one knows the truth, but the story of the red shoes continues. It moves quietly from one generation to the next, warning them that some objects do not bring beauty. Some objects bring punishment. And once they choose you, escape does not come easily. If you want a thumbnail prompt, a shorter version, or a more intense rewrite, tell me.